Hi, welcome back to my experiment with wild fish and brackish water I get out of the lagoon behind my house. It's connected to the Atlantic Ocean and flushes in and out pretty regularly, but it's not really salt water and it's not fresh and it's a very dark color. I did a video yesterday on where I get the water and the creatures from. And if you notice, it's a dark tan in color. It's a chocolate milk color. But you put it in the tank, and this is all 100% water from the river. And it clears up very quickly. Although this is a way oversized filter for this tank, it's a Whisper 60 off an old 55 gallon. I put this in here thinking, it would help with the water being, just a stagnant, brackish water from the lagoon. And it does amazingly well. All the fish are really happy. Even the ones that I hear people have trouble to keep, the pipefish are, they're a member of the seahorse family. And I've heard from people who keep seahorses and even pipefish, and oh, they're so difficult. You got to feed them this, you got to feed them that, and they only like water between a certain temperature, and salinity is between a certain temperature. And some of these guys have been in here over 2 weeks, and they're getting bigger. And one of the males is even carrying eggs. And I got them eating Tetra tropical flakes, and they love it. You can see them cruising around. They're all pretty happy. You know, um, the crabs obviously are scavengers, and they'll eat anything that falls to the floor. But I also have a flounder and the Florida conch, and they, I didn't know what they ate at first, and then when I read what they ate, I'm like, well, I don't have any of that in my tank. So I just kind of went with, hey, I got everyone else eating fish food. So I've thrown in the, bottom feeder tab with like shrimp tabs. They love those things. They jump on that, and really, I put too many in there. I don't want to kill these guys because, they're pretty much just used to rooting around in mud and muck and, foraging for bits of food here and there all day. None of these wild fish are used to that much, protein and food being given to them in one sitting. They eat it all. There's too many fish in here. It's one of the first mistakes I made was too many fish. And that's the reason because I didn't think they would make it. I got a lot of these mosquito fish thinking, maybe half of them will make it. Keep the strongest ones. I got a lot of the shiners thinking, they're from the ocean, they're not going to make it. But, out of the four I got, three of them are still going. A couple of the baby mullet, they're still going. Um, Even the flounder, they're doing amazingly well. I didn't really know. When looking again with those, I didn't know what they ate. Looking it up again, I'm like, how am I going to feed these guys? But they'll eat anything. They're chewing on dead shrimp. They're eating tropical flakes. They're doing their best. I mean, when they get hungry, they're just going to eat whatever, really. And the food I'm giving them is better than what they're used to getting. Maybe not, the best, but more of it, more vitamins and proteins and everything. So they're doing pretty happy. I didn't think the water would suit them, but it is. I do pretty frequent water changes, maybe once every few days, just because it's just a walk down the street, and the weather this time of year is beautiful. The biggest problem is going to come in the summer. I'm going to have to find a new place to find the water because it gets very hot here in the summer, and the water gets very stagnant, and even sometimes so much we'll have fish kill. Um, Even before it gets that close, I don't think I'm going to be able to get water out of the river here by my house, so I'm going to have to figure something out. This is an experiment, so I wonder how if I can go a week without a change. I mean, I haven't yet, but if I can go a week without a water change, this would be a pretty successful wild fish and water experiment. because the only thing I'm doing is just an aerator stone and the filter. No chemicals, no testing, nothing. Um, I just tried to get some top feeders, some mid feeders, and some bottom feeders, which I've got way too many of pretty much everybody now. So I've got to hold off on a few things, even like little clams. There's a bunch of really pretty clams, and they've all kind of dug their way in, and they're doing good. The crabs will eat anything. These mosquito fish they're so hardy you can't kill them. Same with the shiners and the minnows. They do really well. Um, these conch, they're really interesting to watch. They are. They're quite interesting. They crawl all over everything. I had an algae explosion in the tank. This is all live, water from the river. A lot of stuff growing in it. This isn't tap water. So I accidentally left the blinds behind the tank open, and not even for 2-3 hours. And I came back, and the rock and the coral and everything, it was just black, like black. But they've cleaned it. They cleaned the rock. They cleaned the coral. I mean, everyone's just done such a great job that so far this experiment's done really well. Some of the fish are pretty neat. Right here is a goby. And there's a couple of gobies in here of different type. One of the species is called a blenny, and they're pretty neat. These pipefish, they're like a seahorse. They're pretty cool. They're fun to watch. They're all over the place. So this has been pretty neat. Even the ghost shrimp, which are pretty boring. One would get from the pet store for either feed or fish, or clean your tank. These wild ones, they're pretty neat. They click when they flap their tail, like like regular large shrimp, which isn't something you usually get out of the ones you get out of the fish tank. Yesterday, I got some larger crabs. This guy's way too big for the tank. And there's another one too, a different species. He's a little bit bigger than him, where he should not be in there. And these are all my mistakes learning from this experiment. If you have any questions or comments or any help you can give me, please let me know. And thanks for watching. And I hope you enjoy this, because I really am. Thank you. Bye.